Hello, welcome back to Speed Demon Painting. Today we are taking a look at the May releases from Warcradle Studios. May is a bit of a special month because we're not just getting any new ship releases for Dystopian Wars, but we're also seeing one of the first campaign boxes being released in this month. There are 4 big releases, the first one being Cyclone of Shadows, depicted here as the second box, which is a campaign set that is usable pretty much for every faction out there. Alongside of it we have the Alexeyev box, the big skimmer Ekranoplan for the Commonwealth. We also have a smaller Squadron box for the Order, specifically for the Sultanate, and the Japanese support squadrons are making their way to the open oceans. The first release we'll be taking a closer look at is the Cyclone of Shadows campaign set. This is pretty much the first campaign set of its type that Warcradle is releasing, and in it you are getting 3 plastic sprues to make platform sets, as depicted at the top here. We've seen these before in the Beyond boxes, the Beyond the Hunt for the Prometheus and Beyond Sturginium Skies boxes. And well, if you want to learn more about them, I suggest you do check out those videos as well. Alongside of it, you're also getting some nice resin pieces to make some islands, so if you're fighting over slightly scarce battlefields on the open oceans, this can definitely help. And there is at least one big new island that we'll be taking a closer look at as well. Along with these, you also get a few tokens that are used during the new campaigns, and speaking of campaigns, you also get a big rulebook coming out that depicts a lot of new narrative campaign style missions in it. I am very much looking forward to getting my hands on this box, because the article itself mentions that this is a massive 154-page big campaign supplement, which is the biggest update to Dystopian Wars since its launch, it mentions here. For a reference, the rulebook that you perhaps know, that comes with the the 1-player starter set, the 2-player starter sets, etc., is 140 pages. So this book is going to be bigger than that one, so I imagine there's going to be quite a lot of extra lore and quite a lot of extra tidbits in there. Apparently this campaign is all focused around the year 1874 in the dystopian age, and it mentions bits for all factions to use. So yeah, I imagine the narrative gameplay element is definitely going to get a lot deeper with this one. I very much love playing Dystopian Wars. They have just expanded the 6 basic missions to 18 through the competitive gameplay, and I imagine with this supplement you can get a lot more different games out of it as well, which I think is important because the 6 missions that we've been playing so far have been very good, but you know, playing the same missions over and over again can get a bit tedious, and this campaign box does look to fix that one. Speaking of, I do have a video in the making where we'll be going over all of the different rules found in this new competitive play document as well, so if you're looking forward to that one, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for future updates. And apart from a book, there's also some nice little terrain supplements that you're getting in there to sort of dress up your different tables. The first one is one that is completely new. We have not seen this one before, this rather large island with this factory looking building on top of it. And the other islands that are being presented here are ones that we have seen before. It was in the island set that they released some time ago, but it's mostly the actual mountainous terrain pieces. There were a few sort of beachhead pieces in there as well, but they are not included in this box. So you're very much getting the largest pieces from that set in this one as well, which is a good thing. On top of the resin kits, you're also getting the plastic platform kits that we've seen before. You get 3 of those sprues. Now there's one thing that I'm a bit dubious about. This central tower thing here in the middle of that platform does require 2 of those sprues to make, so you will only have a single one of those towers in this set, which is something to keep in the back of your head. But these sets are also filled with a lot of tiny little additions, like these generators on there, these crane types to spruce up the rest of your terrain, these generic gun batteries that can be used by any faction. So if you're the type of hobbyist that really is into making his own custom terrain, this is going to be an absolute gold mine, I think. I already have a video up on the channel showing you how to make easy foam mountains, and I'm definitely going to make a few more of these pieces, combining the resins, the plastics and everything to make some big centerpiece models for your tables. The next big box that we're seeing is the Alexeyev Ekranoplan skimmer. I absolutely love the look of this one. If you think that regular Ekranoplans that we've seen before were cool, you're definitely going to love this big one. In game, this big one is one that actually transports up to 2 Mass 1 ships, skimmers in this case, and looks like this box is mostly geared around that one. This box includes an updated sprue for the Commonwealth support, and that's why, as we'll see in a bit, you can actually make some new types of Ekranoplans out of this set. And it also comes with 2 of the flying sprues, the flyers that we saw in the one-player starter set as well for the Commonwealth. So you're pretty much getting some of the more updated sprues in this one as well, which is a welcome thing with this box. The star of the show is of course the Alexeyev Ekranoplan, which is a heavy transporter. It comes with this big bay in the center, and I do hope, I imagine that that's the case, that you can actually drop one of those Mass 1 Zuber or other hovercrafts in there, and maybe even the smaller Ekranoplans as well. The artwork from this box does seem to depict that, so I'm hoping this translates to the actual model itself. Fear not though, it's not just transporting that this thing does, it also packs an absolute wallop in terms of rocket power, rocket firepower I should say, with quite a lot of them on there. You get 3 regular rocket batteries. Now if I'm not mistaken, it says it gets 4 Katyusha rocket volleys on there as well. It does seem to depict 6 of them, but we'll see how that works when the rules are updated. Remember, they said that they would only update every 6 months to do a generic update for the rules for everyone, but when there are new releases that require a little bit of a tweak, we will see some changes to the Orbats to represent the new releases slightly better. The big cruisers from the support sprues seem to be largely unchanged. I mean, there might be a bit of refinement every now and then, because I have to say, new generation plastics compared to the first generation do look a lot sharper than they were before. So that's also something to look out or to look into. If you're starting out, you might actually get some sharper looking plastics out of them as well. But there are no very clear, obvious new builds in the cruisers. That being said, there is a very obvious new build in the Ekranoplans. This is the traditional one, the Stolitov that we know before. It came with the Katyusha rocket system along with a rocket battery. That's a lot of firepower, moving incredibly fast, and it doesn't seem like there have been a lot of changes in that one. However, parts seem to have been added to allow you to build a second type of Ekranoplan, the Dragunov class Ekranoplan Brawler, which if I'm not mistaken is also one with some transport capabilities. So I imagine these are going to play a big part for when island assaults are actually going to happen. I'm not entirely sure if that's in the campaign set that we've discussed earlier, but it might be. I don't know, I'm not privy to that information yet. As you can see, it does seem to use the big hull from the Stolitov Ekranoplan. The small indentations here are the parts where you have to normally put the Katyusha rocket batteries. However, it seems like they've actually put a couple of extra engines on there, so this is a completely new part of plastic up there. And it seems that the top, where the part that had the rockets on there, the jet propulsion I should say, is now has been replaced with a spot where you can quite easily, I imagine, magnetize a small weapon battery. I am not 100% sure if the railguns, the small railguns, will be included in this new sprue, or if you have to use the advanced sprue to get those. But if small railguns are included on this new support sprue, that would be an absolute goldmine, because those are really, really good in game. For the aerial sprues, we are of course getting the Irkutsk class sky cruiser, the big flying drill. I love the fact that this model came to life again, so yeah, it's great. The other flyers from the Commonwealth absolutely look brilliant as well. I'm particularly keen on this one as well. Again, with the Katyusha rocket launchers, might not be the best idea to build too many of those. If you're building your set though, you have to keep in mind if your opponent comes with a lot of submarines, you're going to be standing there looking a bit silly with all of those aerial weapons, those rocket batteries, because you can't target any submarines at all with them, so maybe not go too crazy with those. And then of course we have the different hovercraft builds that you can build out of them as well. There's a few options and even bits that are interchangeable with the Rurik platforms, of which you will probably have dozens by now if you're already a Commonwealth player. So yeah, more options to make out of those as well if you're opting for this box to, you know, either build on your existing Commonwealth box or starting a new one. Japanese Empire players, rejoice, you finally have your separately available Japanese support squadrons. These were first released in January this year, if I'm not mistaken, and they came in large numbers as well in the new re-released Hachiman box. And we sort of had to wait for that one before this one came available as its own separate thing. But it's really a good thing that it has, because now you can flesh out all of your squadrons to be max sized, especially for your heavy destroyers and even the Chubu submarines as well. It's good to get a few of those in there just to make sure that you can field maximum squadrons. And then the final box that we are getting is for the Sultanate. It's an Order faction. The Order box is named the Order Exemplar Squadron, and it comes with a few ships that we've seen before. The Korkaroli destroyers we have seen before in the Ritage box set, but the new cruisers can now be built as separate pieces, whereas before you had to sort of make the catamaran hull called the Ritage. From the looks of it though, it does seem like it's all new resin that has to go on the top here. Maybe the side bits aren't exactly new resin parts, but the center bit definitely is, because the Ritage came with this big sort of fan on the top to have that portal generator in there, whereas these guys don't. These are the Lesathe Exemplar cruisers, and they are very much all about portal shenanigans to attack your opponent from afar, and you can really go to town on that one with an Order force, because the Order have a rule called the Korkaroli crew, and the Korkaroli, for those of you who don't know, are some of the most elite fighters in the Order faction that we've seen. A few of the people only really playing Dystopian Wars might not know this, but the Korkaroli are available as 35mm infantry models in Wild West Exodus, and this is an example of them. These are these beings, energy beings, that sort of animate these armor sets around them and sort of inhabit them temporarily to create these incredibly efficient warriors The fluff bit mentions the steel visage of the elite Korkaroli boarding the opponent, and this is pretty much what you're facing if you want to have a bit of an image about what's going on during your gameplay. Furthermore, these models come with abilities to create more portals for your force, so you can actually launch assaults at a distance using these Order factions. So they're going to be, for those of you looking for a hyper elite faction, this might be something to check out, because if you buy a Ritage box and then this one, you've got a more than capable 1000 point force, which is a good starting point for any fleet that you're building, but one that is going to be assaulting from a large distance away, if you will, if that makes sense. And there we have it. Those were all of the releases coming in May for Dystopian Wars. It's a very interesting month. I'm definitely looking forward to that campaign supplement, because 150 plus pages of rules along with fluff and more info is definitely something I'm looking forward to sink my teeth into. I hope you liked it as well. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!